somebody says clinical, what comes to you? That word clinical has many quotations for me. So I've had my health challenges, I've had 2 major surgeries. So clinical reminds me of illness, reminds me of a clinic, of a hospital, of treatment. Clinical is a process that leads to healing. Clinical suggests precision. When you have healing in mind and you're thinking hospitals and clinics, yeah, they have to operate with precision. They cannot make mistakes because mistakes will cost lives. They have to be methodical. They do. They have to be methodical. They must deliver results. That's clinical. When something is clinical, it's narrow focused. It's got tunnel vision. Delivers results. Clinical. That word is a word that has been echoing in many dimensions of my life. Many aspects of my life are ill. They need treatment. Clinical. My finances in particular needs treatment. Clinical. Clinical. My business requires precision. It needs diagnostics. Clinical. I need to see the surgeon again. And they need to diagnose what the problem is. Clinical. In order for somebody to be clinical, you need to be knowledgeable. You need to know what you're doing. Yeah, like I said, the surgeons who have done my surgeries, they needed to be people who knew what they were doing. And I was able to subject to them because I knew that they were knowledgeable. I was able to see their track record. And it reassured me that it would be well. Yeah. Their competence allowed them to explore and to find out exactly what the issue was for me. They diagnosed. There is an element of diagnosis in clinical treatments. Amma, what is the problem with all this clinical business? My spirit has been pushing the word clinical as an operative word for me and those of you who want to ascend. In order to ascend, you've got to be clinical in the approaches that you employ. In order for you to be clinical, you've got to know. You've got to be knowledgeable. You must invest in knowing. You will need to work to practice, because clinicians have to be competent people, and competence has a connection to being skilled, getting repeated results that confirms that you are skilled, you can do. In order for you to be clinical, that is also a prerequisite. I am still unpacking this and processing for myself. But at the moment, where I have unpacked you is what I wanted to share with you, and I invite you to join me in unpacking the word clinical. What comes to your mind when somebody shares the word clinical? When you think of your life and the things you've got to do in it to improve, which elements of clinical treatment appeals to you as applicable immediately? In this clinicality, would you be a patient, or are you a treating physician in this clinicality? In my case, there is a dual component to this. In the clinicality, I've got to be the clinician in delivering some elements of this clinicality for sure. But there are some aspects also where I am the patient in this clinicality. There are some elements where I would have to be on the operating table and be operated on to treat some ailment. What? Literally and figuratively. I have been so exhausted, it's not even funny. Yesterday, I was asleep before 5:30 in the evening. I woke up around 1. And then it took me maybe 4 hours to sleep again. So when I was getting into the sleep, it was when I needed to get out of the sleep. So yeah, I am yawning because my sleep pattern is short. My body is back in exhaustion. So forgive my yawning. I hope you can focus on what is important, which is the conversation we are having. Conversation is important to me because it will help me refine my directions, and I hope it's important to some of you who are on the same trajectory as myself. One aspect of clinicality is in decision making. You've got to be clinical in your decision making. When you have clinicality in your decision making, you have laser vision. Your laser vision lands at a particular place, and where it lands, you deliver. You punch to that spot. You don't waver. You hit that spot. So a surgeon, for example, wanting to catch a tumor does not want to catch around the tumor. They want to catch the tumor in its entirety. Remove it, because that makes a difference to the patient and healing and well-being long term. Accuracy is important. And accuracy and precision are probably things that a lot of people recognize anyway. But the other component is timely intervention. So in cancer treatment, for example, sometimes what tends to happen is the surgeon will remove the cancer that they can reach right now, and they will tell you, we can't reach all of it, but we can't leave it in your body for now. So we might have to get in multiple times. We need to get in quickly and remove. And if we need a mop-up later, then we do. The timeliness of interventions is one that a lot of us fall foul of. I have read this repeatedly in the current market. What is important, what is most important, is not even precision, it's not accuracy. It is the timely nature of your decisions. Fastest to the mark wins the pot. Fastest to the mark wins the pot. And that's something that a person like me has struggled with for a while, because the traditional implications of clinicality is what I know and I work with. And I want to consult and reconsult and check and recheck and make sure that I will not make a mistake. The notion of making a mistake, it's a terrible thing. I cannot imagine making a mistake. But mistakes sometimes are inevitable. The greatest mistake is not acting in time. I was told recently in a consultation, the greatest mistake you can make currently is to not act in time. That still spins my head. Not acting in time is the greatest mistake you can make. So sitting and consulting, reconsulting, double checking, triple checking is an absolute mistake. It's a flaw in the way my systems are built, with the original notion of precision in mind. I don't like to live in regret. But now, one of the main reasons why I live in regrets in so many dimensions is because I did not act on things that I knew before. Or sometimes I acted, but I didn't act and see through. So, my new connotations to clinicality is to prioritize timely interventions. Time is the greatest of all the factors, apparently. That means a lot to the program I am on. It means a lot that I focus on time, I dwell on time, make sure the time out of the blocks is one of my priorities. And it requires a retraining of the mind to not require absolute certainties, to gather enough evidence and move with that evidence, ready to act more as more information becomes available. Am I suggesting that this is going to be an easy new paradigm for a lot of people to adopt? Of course not. It's not a comfortable paradigm for me, but it's a necessary paradigm. I'm going to have to tell myself to act before I have all the information to do, because speed out of the block is the priority. Boom. I want to explode out of the blocks. I must explode out of the blocks. That should give me an edge in this run. It will take the other people time to recover, to get out of the blocks. No matter how fast they are, that still gives me a head start that I can leverage, I can work with. I greet you. Trust you are well. Hope that the message reaches you personally and means to you what it means to me. This message I'm sharing with all of us, including myself. Please know that this is not a random thing I'm sharing with you. This is the message to me from my internal systems. I just choose to verbalize so that those of you who also watch may benefit from it. And this message is a kick up my hind. It really is. To act in a timely fashion, to not delay, to not wait, to get going. And I'm very proud right now in recognizing something in my head that I have made a decision on very quickly. I would typically not have acted so fast. I would dilly-dally and I would wait. All my questions are not answered, but I've moved. Yesterday, my life was being played to me when I woke up. And it was almost like my mind was just reminding me, but you have always been able to make decisions on the spot. You have. And you have got some of your biggest wins by making some of these big dares. Why are you suddenly becoming a chicken? Why are you chicken? I'm like, well, since I became a wife, no, X happened when you were a wife. Well, since I became a mom, no, you did this when you were a mom. And so many things were flashed in front of me last night. That stunned me because I forgot. And in some cases, I did not even realize that I had some things that I have done. And I hadn't been so afraid to do. I did. Yeah. And I was marveling at my nerve. And I was so proud of myself that I have that nerve. I had that nerve. And so I reminded myself, girl, you had balls then. They should have become even harder now. Come on, girl. Come on. Yeah. This thing that I am deciding on is scary. But for some reason, because of these conversations that my internal system is having with me, I have found the balls to decide without requiring annotated diagrams that I am learning to trust myself to be able to respond appropriately in time, in real time. Yeah. To be clinical in any decision making requires trust in yourself. And to have trust and faith in yourself, it helps to have a proven track record. So what my mind was doing to me when I woke was establishing my proven track record with me. It was showing me the things I've done in the past, the balls I've had in the past, the dares that I've made in the past. And the difference between me and those who didn't get the same outcomes was that I was willing to stake out. So here goes. I'm very happy that my internal systems reminded me. I hope that sharing it with you may help you too. I hope that your own internal systems find enough examples within your internal to help you to make decisions that would foster your growth, that will foster your prosperity, that will foster your well-being. That you will not be too afraid to align yourself with partners of growth. That you will not wait for opportunities to be taken before you realize you got it first. I thank God that we are all here on this thing together. And I look forward to all of us being able to share testimonies in the next few weeks, months, of the dares that we did in January. and the opportunities they availed in February, March, April, May, June, and the transformation they achieved in the year 2026. For me, 2026 is a year of recovery. It is a year of recovery. I have taken hits. Of course, I've taken hits. But I need to recover from some of those hits. And so this year, recovery from those hits would be the main theme. I'm working on it. I hope you also are on a similar program. And when time comes to share, we would all do so and benefit. Good morning from me to you. I hope this message has been helpful. See you soon.